Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I know I was live earlier today, but I can't help it. I'm an addict of live feeds. I have a switch here somewhere. There we go. All right. There it is. We got light. I have a feeling, I know I said the last late night live feed I would take it off the air, but I didn't. Because I thought we were going to get into some stuff, but we never did. As far as like discussion. This is your chance to ask me anything you want.
Hey, welcome to Viking Prepared.
Let's see. Are notifications out? We've got what? 5 people in here. I don't think so. My videos. Yeah, it's not showing up. Yeah, we'll give it a minute. And then we'll start reading comments. Well, that's a good ratio. 5 people in here and 3 thumbs up, so that's cool. That's neat. Pale Rider did not go live tonight. So... And apparently my notifications are going out because I don't even see it on my YouTube feed. Figures. So YouTube has been horrible about notifications. Oh well. We'll do it the old-fashioned way here. Okay, Daniel Adami, Nevada Trails, what's happening? Overtaxed Minnesota. Dave, I might call you tomorrow. Are you working? Because I have a question. I'm kind of not in Minnesota, but I'm definitely in your area. Logistically disturbed, thumbs up. Chucky, what is up? It is late, I know. Business account open today, ready to get rolling. Just waiting on 389 to come in. I got the notification. Awesome. We could talk about trucking business. Daniel says he got the notification. Yeah. RN, what's up? Hope all is well. And we're still not doing anything with our homepage here. Yeah, we'll just restart this phone. See if that... YouTube's been weird. My phone's been weird. Earlier the DAP board went down. You know how frustrating it is when you pay $70 a month for something and it's Friday mid-morning and you're trying to find a weekend load and the DAP board goes down. You know, and Uber and Convoy didn't have squat. Convoy did have a load that I was eyeballing. It was going to Albuquerque. And so I looked at the lane average for Albuquerque because I was going to ask for like way more, like 50% more. But then I looked at the market out of Albuquerque, and New Mexico is just a no-go. I mean, unless you want to, I mean, I don't even know how to get out of New Mexico. I think in Landstar, I think I got a couple of things out of Los Lunas. I think you get copper out of there. But I just never, it's always red, on the 123 low board. So So I didn't even put my ridiculous number in it, because that ridiculous number means nothing if I'm gonna have to deadhead 800 miles to get out of there. So I am not Pale Rider. You are correct, Little Wagon Coach. You can haul meth out of Albuquerque. No, we got plenty of that in Missouri, man. We got plenty of that in Missouri. And you'll have to forgive me. Hopefully this phone. Maybe YouTube doesn't like the open forum. Maybe I've gone live too many times. That's probably it. Nope, still nothing. Okay, so we can do this. Did you guys hear about that? The triangular UFOs that the Pentagon's like, yeah, that's real. We don't know what it is. That's neat. Then I watched an interesting video talking about things going on in Ukraine, Russia, and China. That might be interesting. And we're still not. My video is literally not in here. I can literally not watch my own video. Okay. All right. YouTube, you suck. That's all there is to it. So we'll just have to reach over the phone here. Let's see. You made it live. Yep. You among 11 lucky people. Clyde Garland, good evening. How's your trailer deal going there, Clyde? Well, it's late, so everyone must be sleeping their booties in the air. Dana, I'm surprised you're not sleeping. You need to rest. Master of Puppets are pulling your strings. Yeah, we're in Texas heading to St. Joseph tomorrow. Carlsbad, New Mexico. I believed I pulled peanut butter out of there one time. There's a lot of peanut farms out there. And I took it to Chattanooga to the Moon Pie factory. It was a funny delivery because I found the place and I show up and they were like completely surprised by my presence. Like, oh my God, what do you have? Oh, you know, so they got the bills and they're like, oh, what is this? I'm like, it's peanut butter. You ordered this stuff. Oh man, you brought it all the way from New Mexico? Yeah, this is called a truck. This is called a trailer. We put things inside of it, and that's how you make your I mean, it was that bad. It was like, this guy's like, oh my God, peanut butter, what are we gonna do? You know. And they offered me a bunch of free moon pies, and I was like, ugh, gosh, no. So yeah, that was quite a few years ago. Typically, we go from New Mexico to Denver. Nevada, how far is it from Albuquerque to Denver? I'm only going to be in here for a little bit, and then I'll be going to bed. No need to import, question mark. Daniel, why aren't you sleeping? I'm going to tell your mom. I'm on the phone with my cousin after my live feed, and we talked for a good long while. GNC, the aliens are watching us. What if humans are about to make this stupid big mistake? Like, I don't know, start a nuclear war, and the aliens are here to like, calm yourselves, humans, idiots. Look what you did to Mars. You blew up Mars, so, you know, don't do the same thing to Earth. See it on Ritchie Brothers, a 2012 selling on trailer sold for $28,000. That is that that is absolutely insane. That is nuts. That is just I don't even know what to say to that. I paid 30 for mine, brand new, and it doesn't have that weird, stupid symbol of Celadon on the side of it. Can you play a bass like an electric guitar? Yes. Found me one from SNI in Atlanta. Should begin it next week. Cool, Clyde. Isn't that great, Clyde? You finally get away from the clutches of the Big Orange, and guess what you're pulling? A Big Orange trailer. But that's all right, man. A lot cheaper than what you're paying now. I hope I live long enough for the alien invasion. Me too, little Viking coach. I'm like, we need an Independence Day type situation. And I'm not talking about the 4th of July. I'm talking about the alien Will Smith movie where the world kind of had to get their act together and kind of had to join together to fight these whatever things that called us roaches, that wanted to systematically destroy us and eradicate us. Someone in Blue Springs is asking $35K for a 2015 on Facebook Marketplace. I've heard of people just randomly selling their equipment because they know they can make a buck. Dude, if I could sell my trailer right now for $30,000, that would be sweet, because I only owe like 12. I'd profit $12,000, and then I'd be without a trailer and you can't find them. So, you know, this idiot that's the front man for the country is going to get us in a war. You know, to be honest with you, I don't think it matters who's president. I think people are going to poke the bear long enough. It's going to happen regardless. Already made that mistake. I got married, so yeah, so I have you all covered. Rosemary in Carlsbad, our trailer still smells, and that was 9 months ago. Wow. 6 hours, 15 minutes, 447 miles. That's not too bad. I know people that'll take loads to Denver and then they'll deadhead to Kansas City for a load, which is about 600 something miles. Which is fine if you got a good rate out of Denver, because, you know, it's not too bad coming out of Kansas City, but it's that day, you know, you got to run hard for a full day just getting Kansas City for something. And you don't ever want to do a blind deadhead. You don't want to ever like, okay, I'm delivering in a dead area and then I'm just going to go automatically to somewhere else without even looking at a low board. I know people have done that, and you might be surprised. Like, one time I actually found a good paying load of empty cans. It was when I was with Landstar out of Denver. Now, it went to another dead area. It went to New Mexico, to a Coca-Cola place. And I think out of there is where I picked up the peanut butter and took that to Tennessee. So. No, that's not what I did. I took something to Texas, and then I took a hazmat load out of Houston or something like that, I think. I don't know. I can't remember. I can't even remember what I did yesterday. It's ironic, but a 2012, half the price for a sell-on at Ritchie Brothers. Yeah, look, auctions are, you know, it's about desperation. The more desperate you are, the more money you have, the more you're gonna, you know, you're up against guys that, you know, 30,000 is nothing for them. I mean, my timing this last year has been good. I got my house before the craziness in the housing market, got my trailer before the hike in the trailer prices. Chuck, you did good, man. You did good. Put up for 35. I'm gonna put up for 40. The RV guys led by Randy Quaid won that alien war. Yes, they did. You want a cheap trailer, go to the auction when the trucking companies that went bankrupt assets are up for auction. Look, the time to buy a trailer was last year at this time. I'm looking at Facebook memories, and That was when Uber was posting loads for 98 cents a mile. And everybody was losing their collective minds. Even me, I stayed home for a couple of weeks. I'm like, you guys sort this crap out. I'm going to stay home for a week or so. And part of it was because I was being a whiny brat, but the other part of it is because I think I had a truck repair that I was dealing with as well. So, and some home stuff. So it wasn't like I was like, I ain't going to work for 2 weeks. You know, I wasn't doing that, you know. And then once I came out, I just went super short and made my minimum rate. Hardly any fuel. The world was going to end, so you know we had food and water and everything in the truck. And then you know I don't know if you guys know this, but Daniel Adami went live earlier, and he is saying that he has COVID. And I feel for the guy, I really do. And so I brought up a question that probably freaks a lot of you out that you may not even have answers to, but what do you do if you're in a situation and you have to be hospitalized? Do you have a contingency plan for that? What do you do if you have to be quarantined in your truck for 2 weeks? Let's say you're in the middle of nowhere and you get tested positive for COVID. Technically, you're supposed to quarantine for 2 weeks. Well, how are you going to get food? How are you going to get water? How are you going to use the bathroom? Just like you should always have 2 or 3 gallons of water on your truck at all times. You should always have non-perishable food, and you know, take the keto and the fasting thing aside. Just throw that away for a second. A loaf of bread and a peanut butter and jelly can go a long way. Canned goods. You know, what I did last year at this time is I stocked my truck for 2 weeks of non-perishables, plenty of water, had things to assist me with the exit, if you get my drift, of food. And not only was it because, you know, we didn't know if restaurants or truck stops were going to be open except for fuel, but the other aspect is, what if I do get sick? You know, I had a friend of mine that got sick and he had to quarantine himself in the truck. You know, luckily he had everything he needed in that truck, and what he didn't have, he could have, or what he didn't have, he could order it. You know, either through Uber Eats or, you know, I think some Walmarts and Aldi's are delivering now, you know. So, I mean, it's you have to have a plan in place. Just like let's say the carrier that you're at shuts off your fuel card. That's not a good sign. So, you know, you see your settlements coming in late and your fuel card gets shut down, it's time for you to go home. It's time for you to grab a credit card or grab some cash, buy enough fuel to get home and go home. Or to the orientation of whatever next company you need to go to. And we're still not on my home feed. Unreal. Whatever. Really want an air ride, but all the ones I found decent price were wood-walled. Yeah, I'd rather have the spring ride with the right walls than a air ride with the wrong walls. Twin Truckers, what's up? I don't think I've seen you for a minute. I just had to put my Boston Terrier down. He was 15 years old, and that was a lot harder than I thought. Nevada, I feel for you, man. It seemed like there was a couple of years ago where we had to do that with like 3 different animals. It was sad, and you know, I feel for you, man. My condolences. Next Gen, good evening, Mr. Night Owl. Oh, well, you're not Night Owl, but the Night Rider, I guess. Next Gen. Don't get tested. Hey, Next Gen, I'll be sending you a couple of pictures of some really cool tools that I may or may not have acquired. Uber Eats, yep. The man, I had no choice but to get tested. I was planning on going home, and I live with my 71-year-old mom, and now I took my test and came out positive. I won't have to worry about passing it on to her. I've had him since he fit in my hands and trained him. He was a family dog, but honestly, he was considered mine. He lived a full life. It was hard putting a dog to sleep, much harder than I thought. Yeah, I mean, you think you can mentally handle that, and then, I don't know, this sucks. It just sucks, dude. Been off 5 days. Looks like you've been working 5. I have been working. I'm actually going into Wisconsin, if you can believe that. And we'll talk about that. You guys want to talk about that for a minute? If you're positive, I think you'd pass it on. Be careful. I think I know what you're trying to say, Daniel. Our oldest dog may need to be put down soon. He's old, and now he has a smoker's cough. How does the dog have a smoker's cough? But I'm sorry to hear that, Chucky. Our current dog right now, I don't know. I know what I'd do without him. He's been a good dog. So anyways, I delivered in Neosho. I grabbed the load out of St. Louis and went to Neosho. And once I delivered, I looked at, well, the DAT board went down, so that was dumb. I looked at the 123, and they didn't have much. So I checked the Ubers and the Convoys and JB Hunts and all that, and finally the DAT board came back up, and I went and called on a few loads. A lot of them weren't picking up until 6 or 7 tonight, and I'd already started my clock. And or it was like 400 miles, pick up today, deliver Monday, kind of stuff. And so when you look for a load on a Friday, your options are actually kind of limited, because you don't want to do like a 400-mile run unless you need a restart, and sit on a load for 3 days for, one daily rate. But it's tough to put yourself in a position where you're in a good market come Monday morning. So the beauty of Springfield is I could pick up something out of Joplin that might go to Columbus for Monday morning, take it home, and then leave out Sunday, or Saturday, leave out Saturday or something like that. But that works because Springfield is between Joplin and Columbus, right? But let's say you have, I pick up a load that's picking up in Joplin that delivers in Rolla, Missouri for Monday, and I go home under a load. Well, I do that a lot. But again, Springfield's on the way to Rolla, whereas if I do a Joplin to Kansas City that doesn't deliver to Monday, I can't do that because I'm not going to go all the way to Springfield and then go all the way back up to Kansas City. That's like 100 miles out of route. So why would I put myself in this situation? So it's you're kind of limited on what you can take. So I found the load coming from Joplin going to Madison area, Wisconsin. The only big city I gotta go through is St. Louis. and I didn't want to be anywhere near Milwaukee, and I didn't want to be anywhere near Minneapolis Minneapolis for obvious reasons. And that paid decent. And then I found, but it didn't, it delivered Sunday. That was the good part about it. It didn't deliver on Monday, it delivered Sunday. So I'm like, all right, that works. And so now my next load doesn't pick up till Monday, but it's a fairly decent deadhead, so I'll just do all that deadhead Sunday. So Sunday's going to be an easy day. And that load comes right back to Springfield out of Illinois. So all in all, for 4 days, it's good money. And when I look at my week from Wednesday to Tuesday, I'm doing really good rate per day. So all I got to do is fill out the rest of the week next week, and we'll be good to go. So I'll have to be in Friday, and I can't be under a load when I go home, because I found that it's easier to do doctor's appointments on Tuesdays in Springfield, so I can take a load and be under it and deliver it Monday. That's what I did last week, and it worked out really well. So I think that's what I'm going to start doing. Got an early appointment in Sealy. He's not Chuck anymore. He's Mr. Charles per Pale Rider TV Trucking. I'll call him whenever I want. Yes, tell Overtax to go to bed. Pamela, you're the boss. You tell him. Jeff Arrington, what's up? Iced Earth heavy metal guitar player, first Capitol rioter, takes plea deal, 3 to 4 years in prison. Yeah, that's crazy. So, if you guys remember, I'm friends with Richard Christie, and he was in Iced Earth for a small period. And essentially, he's a hired gun. And so from the whole underground community, Mr. Schaefer isn't known to be the easiest person to work for. You know, here he has one of the most awesomest drummers. I know that's beautiful English, ain't it? In the metal world, and he literally told him to not do any flashy stuff, just do what he told him to do. Well, he's a hired gun, so I mean, what else are you gonna do? And when I found out that he was part of the Capitol thing, I was like, wow, that's you wouldn't think of that. And you know, and the problem with bands and politics, look, politics have always been in rock music in one form or fashion. I mean, look at the 60s, you know, for heaven's sake. But when a band shows its politics, a band or an artist or an actor shows their politics, like on Twitter, it kind of ruins things. Just like the whole NFL and NBA and all their stuff that they're doing. You know, even NASCAR hasn't escaped that, you know, and you know, if you take away the bread and circuses of a society, then what do you got left? You know, they gave us the bread, but they took away the circuses. And that's why people during spring break in Miami Beach went nuts, because like, wow, we got all this freedom, and they freaked out and did horrible things over there. But Mr. Schaefer, you know, there's a lot of people like that make the right wingers look crazy, look bad, you know, just like there's a lot of left-wing nuts that really don't help their cause any. You know, I don't care what side of the fence you're on, but people just need to learn to chill. Just chill. Alan, what's up? Pam's trying to put me down. I'm still pretty dodgy, though. Hey, I know one way to get, you know, tell Pam there's one good way to get you to sleep. Wink, wink. On another note, opening an LLC and S corp and doing payroll is very interesting. Learning a lot. Nevada, I'm glad you're learning that because I didn't learn that stuff when I first started. That I still didn't understand the LLC and the S corp and all that. Now I started my LLC before I bought my first truck. And I remember I got a call from Landstar, for orientation. They're like, okay, so you're an LLC, right? It's just like, yeah. I'm like, yeah. It's like, are you a S corp, C corp, or sole proprietor? I'm like, I don't know. So, I mean, this went on for 10 minutes, just me racking my brain, and she had absolutely no information for me. None. And later on, I would figure out what I did right and what I did wrong. But when Hauling Assets podcast came out, they were the best ones. People have tried to explain it to me. I just didn't get it. But the way they explained it worked very well for me, and now I get it, right? So I contacted an accountant. It was going to be my accountant, but they've kind of dropped the ball about switching from my LLC to be considered an S corp type LLC. But I think I'm in the rare part where it doesn't really do me a whole lot of good because my revenue is kind of low. So, and I still have a lot of tax advantages on the other side of the house. So, but they were going to help me with that and they never got back with me. So I'm still with the same accountant I've been with for years. So what are you going to do? What's the net? Tony Truman, what's up? Yeah, Daniel, I mean, you can call me tomorrow. I know what you're going to ask me, but you're not going to like the answer. Eddie, what's up? I'm not working, Eddie. I'm in sleeper berth. Crooker used and abused me tonight. I don't look. Yeah, I don't know how you do it, Eddie. You feel violated. That's TMI. Did you watch that mini documentary the Stern Show did on Richard? Little Wine Coach? I don't think I did. I don't think I didn't think I knew that existed. You have to admit, though, after January 6th, fuel prices shot up and things went to crap. Look, twin truckers, here's my opinion of that. Yes, fuel went up. Fuel's actually gone down a little bit. It got up to 320 in some places in Missouri. Now it's back down to 299. So yay for that. When it comes to Minneapolis and when it comes to the capital city stuff, emotional people, not highly reactive people, are easily manipulated. They wanted those people to go up there and cause problems. There's probably some antagonists that probably don't even care about the cause that they were there for, just because they were so easily lured there. I knew that what went down was going down before it went down. That's the most ridiculous thing I think I've ever said. When they stormed, I posted on Facebook, fools, you were lured there. Because now they have an excuse. Now they have an excuse to be open season on the far right. And that's what they wanted. Emotional people are easily manipulated. Ego, pride, envy, greed, these are all tricks, all tools of the devil to manipulate fear, misery, and discontent and anger, which leads to war, which leads to profit. There you go. I just said a mouthful right there. That's where I'm at. That's it. You've heard the term useful idiots, right? Useful idiots are the first ones taken out when the right power gets what they want. That's all there is to it. History has shown it time and time again. There's something big coming. Don't know what, don't know when, don't know where. I'm going to read you guys something. And we're still not showing up on our homepage. It might be not on this phone. It's not on this phone. Dang it. It's a screenshot, but oh well. There will be wars and rumors of wars. Is a passage in the Bible. I don't care if you're religious or not, but hear me out on this. In Fahrenheit 451, there were rumors of war, rumors of battles, rumors of victories that weren't really true. And I don't know if it's the social media that I've seen, but all I know is that I feel deep inside that something big's coming. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's going to be another 9/11 event or something bigger. I don't know. All I can do is go about my daily life and do my best to protect myself and protect my family and keep my nose out of trouble and have an exit plan of you know, how do I get home? How do I do this? How do I do that? You know, that's all there is to it. I still don't understand it, but my wife does, so I relay on her for that. What are we talking about? Oh, the LLC thing. Okay. Cascade. Richard, what's up, man? Screenshot all your receipts. Yeah, I do that. Twin Truckers, you want to know what I do? Okay, so here's what I do. I use an app called Tiny Scanner. Tiny Scanner Pro to be exact. There it is, right there. Okay? And you get folders, such like that. Okay? So every receipt, every piece of paper that has something to do with taxes goes in a folder. It's organized here, and then once a month I email the entire folder to myself on 2 different email accounts and to my accountant. And that keeps it all in a nice, neat package. And by sending it to a special email that I only use for this purpose, it's in a cloud. Right? So, that's what I do. Now, I didn't do that all the time. I was the guy with the shoebox of receipts. I went, here, sorry. Wake me up when it's done. You know, that kind of deal. We're trying to be better about that. I'll be making a lot of videos on it after I file and can better understand it. Good deal. We need more. Look, that's the kind of information we kind of need out here. You know, we could sit here and talk about brokers and new trucks and used trucks and you know, $2 markets versus $4 markets, and you know, if the rates are going to go up, rates are going to go down, you know, cost and all that stuff. But when it comes to like real deep business stuff, I mean, there's not a whole lot of information, and part of that is because what works for me may not work for you. And you definitely don't want to be giving tax advice because everybody's tax situation is different. So it is kind of a tough water to tread there sometimes. Michael Dow, hey you. I'll look it up. Food loads suck. Oh, Cascade. Cascade, did you break your own rule? Did you break your rule, Cascade? How many times I tell you, when you break your own rules, you will always regret it. I know I do. I'll sit there and say something stupid like, I'm never going to do baled cardboard ever again. Oh, look, here's a load out of Mobile, Alabama that's baled cardboard. Next thing you know, I'm in my truck with the bill of lading and some frustration going, why did I break my rule? This has been a pain in the butt. Nevada, I won't discuss that. I'm actually expected things to be a lot worse. I expected fuel to be higher, and I expected the stock market to drop big time, but we're actually doing okay. A lot of that, Eddie, is social media. You know, if you're on the far right, you've been told that the world's going to end. Just like when you were on the far left and Trump was in office, you were told the world was going to end. What I look at is the bizarre situations that we're all putting ourselves in, you know, like things that I won't discuss because YouTube's been taking stuff down like crazy. That makes you just like, what? You know, kind of like that. Richard's Minute. Okay, I'll have to check that out. Thank you. What question do you think I'm going to ask you, Snorelord? The same question you've been asking everybody else. Blue Viking Coach, I agree with your words. Fuel is holding steady, but here's the deal. Fuel always goes up right before summer. And if a lot of mask mandates are lifted and people feel confident because they got the vaccine and there's no more mask mandates, they're going to be traveling. They're going to go visit the family. They're going to go to all these places. They're still not going to like start turning on concerts or anything like that. But, you know, and so with that, fuel will go up. Like if I had to get out my magic 8-ball, crystal ball, whatever, I would bet on the beginning of June is when gas and fuel will go back up. I agree, Little Wine Coach. I know some people don't want to talk politics, but that's what affects our livelihoods. We need to stand up against too much government regulations. The Green New Deal is supposed to take us out. I agree with you, Twin Truckers. That's a whole new discussion for a whole new day because there's just so much. I don't know. There's just At this point, we're just all peasants in this world, and the real people with the real power are doing things that are beyond our comprehension at this point. And when we think they're going to zig, they're going to zag, and it's going to level us all out. There's nothing really we can do. I pay about $90 a month, Nevada. But I really kind of waste it because I track everything with Truckin' Office right now. I was on Truckin' Pro, but I decided I'd try Truckin' Office. Because ironically, Jeff's like, you should learn Truckin' Office so you can help with the day-to-day stuff. I'm like, okay. So I learned Truckin' Office, and now he's on something else. So it's like, but I do enjoy Truckin' Office. It's been pretty good. It's not as accurate as Truckin' Pro, but it's definitely a better model if you decide you want to get your own authority. Truckin' Pro is very tedious at times, depending on how much information you want to put in. But Truckin' Office, man, there's a lot of stuff that autofills pretty easily. But I still promote Truckin' Pro. I get a kickback for everyone that signs on with that with my code. But it's not like I don't use the product. I did 3 years with Truckin' Pro. And I still could. I mean, I still could go back. But a lot of it I didn't want to pay the monthly fee with Truckin' Pro, but with the truck being paid off, I thought, well, I can afford a few extra things that I've been kind of putting off because I didn't want to increase my costs very much. So, but I also pay my accountant to do the same thing, and but they do my taxes too. So I mean, what are you gonna do? And you will be hearing of wars and rumors of wars. See that you are not alarmed, for those things must take place, but that is not yet the end. Cascade, that was the exact screenshot I was gonna read out. How'd you know? Green New Deal is being passed around now as the infrastructure bill. Is it possible to buy a tanker trailer and be a tanker owner operator? Ivan, I don't know about buying the trailer aspect. I'm sure there is, but I do know that there are some owner lease opportunities. Schneider's got a lease program for tankers. I have a friend that is the safety director at in Eldon, Missouri, called Opie's. They have a lease operator, owner operator division. You could bring your own truck as long as it follows the specs. And then there's a company out of Springfield called T-Haul, but I don't know much about them other than a couple of people I know that weren't happy there. But they're also owner-operators over there. So yes, that is possible. The Trucker's World, what's up? Someone who has a company that installs and services the wind turbines said that they stated that the cost to serve those and maintain them is far more than the cost of gas or coal-fired electric plant. That's the problem. A lot of the green efficient stuff is very hypocritical. Mining lithium and filling the landfill of batteries, that's way better than, burning some black diesel, Dio, what's up? Let's refuse to be brainwashed by social media, shall we? I like your humble approach to YouTube. Take it easy. Ride easy, buddy. See you around. Yeah, thank you, Nevada. Not just social media, though. You have to have certain media organization from print to TV that willing to toe and throw out whatever political party you're aligned with, truth be known. Some of the issues have been put off with all the money being passed out, but when the government allows banks and landlords to evict again, it will not be good. Look, the best way to predict the future is this. Look at the habits of today. Look at your personal habits. If you're eating like crap, the future is not good with your health. If you are bad with money, the future is not good for your financial. You look at your history and see what you're doing today, that predicts your future. You know, barring any unforeseen event like a house fire or an accident or some of that nature. But for the most part, most of the things that you deal with are predictable. If you use the Mud Flap app, it's free and you can save up to 70 cents a gallon with some truck stops. Definitely worth it. I've heard about that. I know that Cascade was using it. I know DIY, I think, talks about it. I have not looked into it. We have a fairly decent discount, and where I run, it's pretty good. So I really haven't had the need to, but that might have come in handy on this trip because I had to go out of route to get to the Joplin Petro to get fuel. But I've heard good things about Mud Flap. And a lot of the mom and pops are cheaper than the big ones anyways, even after discounts. So there's that. That is my scanner radio.
357, the caller refused to give his name or phone number to dispatch.
Control copy, please.
There's a shooting event in Indianapolis. Again.
Come on, under control. Figure 360,
That shooting in Indianapolis, that kind of hit close to home for me because my niece used to work there. Both her and her husband worked there at that FedEx in Indianapolis. And yeah, her Facebook got flooded with concerns, you know, not realizing that they had moved and they were no longer working there. You sound like an actuary there for a second. I don't even know what that means. Actuary. How dare you use big words? The person who compiles and analyzes statistics and uses them to calculate insurance risk and premiums. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, that's essentially what you have to do. I mean, you know, it's not hard. Mashed potatoes from Church's Chicken or KFC. I don't think I've ever had mashed potatoes from Church's Chicken. And really, they're probably the same box of dried crap. Ivan, it's the gravy. The MSG filled gravy, that's where the key is. I have that police scanner as well. Yeah, it's lighting up. I have it set for notification for anything that has above 2,000 listeners. And so there are some mornings, like during Riot World last year, there were some mornings where I woke up, I had 4 or 5 notifications from 4 or 5 different cities. And then I would check the Googles for news. And it was interesting how that was tough to find. So that's why I downloaded DuckDuckGo. Because you can find the legit news with that. I agree with you, twin truckers. Don't sell yourself short. Thinking like an actuary is a tough thing for most people. Well, you know, it's something I've learned. It took me a long time, Rick, to go from a truck driver with a business to a businessman with a truck drive with a truck. I know it sounds weird and redundant and stupid, but the gist of it is, if you don't think like a business person, then you struggle. And I really hate struggling. I'm lazy like that. I hate struggling. And, you know, this morning I think we talked about how I made sure that my risk was calculated and as low as possible. And it took me a couple of years. I think it was around the time that I met Jeff that I really started thinking about business. You know, he's the one that turned me on to Truckin' Pro. And once I started really doing the numbers and treating this like a business, I think that it's done a lot better. And you know, and look, I've talked to some drivers that are like, "Oh no, I don't go over my numbers because it would just stress me out." And I think the reality is that you don't go over your numbers because you're afraid of the truth. And that's going to piss some people off. I know it is. I know I'm going to get like 2 or 3 thumbs down for that comment alone. But the reality is that if you feel anxiety about knowing the truth, then you just don't want to know the truth. There's that. You don't want to have your ego dented when you find out that you're not making the big bucks that you thought you were. That you're actually doing this for less than a company wage at times. That doesn't sit well with some people. So people avoid that and don't do their numbers and measure their success off of what they got in the bank. And that's, you could have 30,000 in the bank at a trucking company and it'd be gone in like 2 days. Easily. That's how this business works. And if you're not on top of your A game, you know, anything could take you out, whether it's within your control or without your control. You know, you could have a school bus full of nuns cut you off and instant fire and everybody's totaled and dead and you know, and that, you know, you can't foresee and protect yourself against things like that. But, you know, the less you risk, the better. I mean, you know, I was talking to a friend of mine whose expenses are kind of high, and I was like, well, you know, but luckily he's got a good work ethic and he's got very good business mind. I think he'll get through it. Always prepare for the worst. Always prepare for the worst. That's it. I know how to survive off $1 a mile. I know how to profit off $1 a mile. Does that mean I'm out there picking dollar mile freight? No. Does that mean I'm underbidding you and driving the rates down? No. It just means that I'm not going to freak out over the 1 or 2 loads that are done under my costs. So, because at the end of the day, as the Little Viking Coach likes to point out, it's all about the net. We're still not showing up on the homepage. That's amazing. Well, we got 23 people in here. It's better than the other night. I've heard somewhere that there was this sleepy trucker who put fuel, but then realized once he was done at the pump, he got, wasn't diesel but gas. I don't know how that'd be difficult to do, Ivan, because there are no gas pumps that a truck can fit underneath. So there's that. You hate struggling, that's why you like to run food loads. Have you watched Dr. Sean Baker, Dio? Okay, you're talking to Dio. Now, I've heard of people delivering gas or diesel, putting in the wrong tank. That's happened. I've heard of that. Fail to plan, you plan to fail. When a business doesn't know their numbers, they're unable to plan, so they plan to fail. That's absolutely true. Steve, can you tell me how insurance costs will play out for me with only 2 years of experience if I decide to lease on with a carrier? that would depend on the carrier. LD, I'm going to call you LD, and it just depends on the carrier's insurance. Now, if you were to get your own authority, that would be a huge chunk of change. But like us, I'm not sure. I think we're at 2 years experience, but I do know that you're a higher risk, so you're more likely going to have to, there's too many factors, because your truck payoff is another one. So to insure my truck is a lot cheaper than to insure a brand new truck. Because if you got a brand new truck, you're insuring it for 160,000, whereas my truck, I think I've got it at 25,000. So that's a significant amount as well. And then the year's experience is a big aspect. So that's tough. I don't know your record. I don't know what, if your MVR is clean or whatever. But the choice of carriers that you'll have at 2 years experience are going to be pretty low, and they're going to be kind of bottom feed barrel kind of stuff. But I believe you do qualify for Snyder, so I would look into them. What did the priest say to the nun at the salad bar? Let us pray. That's such a dad joke, LVC. Done that, said whoops. 50-50 shot, Ivan Drago is Yukon or Ike. No ACC one morning. Snyder's at 6 months now. Look, Snyder was a great place to be an owner-operator for me. I liked it there. Everybody gripes about the micromanaging and all that stuff. And was it a little overbearing at times? Yeah, but I didn't follow the rules all the time. I didn't wear the steel-toed boots everywhere I went. I didn't wear a safety vest everywhere I went. I didn't do that. But the trick with Snyder was all the drop and hook. It was easy to fill in the gaps. It was easy to make the loads work to my schedule, and because my costs are low, I didn't have to stress out about a $4,500 a month truck note. Yeah, credit does come into play as well. Credit does come into play. So if you have an 800 credit score, you're going to get a better rate than the guy that's got a 500 credit score. If you have a 500 credit score, more likely you don't own your truck. Unless you bought it from your neighbor for cash. A situation like that. You're a rebel? You wouldn't expect anything less? I don't know if I'm a rebel. I'm definitely not a rebel. I was angry. I was an angry metalhead. I mean, I'm still kind of a angry metalhead. Just a little bit more level-headed about it. I don't walk around, even though I'm concealed, CCW, I don't walk around with fear. I don't put myself in situations because I have, as ASP put it, a woolby, but I've grown up in some pretty rough neighborhoods, so I kind of know the things to look for, and you have to watch your back out here. So I don't live in fear, but I live in constant awareness, I guess, which can be taxing sometimes. I delivered gas in the diesel before. Good thing I caught it before someone fueled. Had to call another empty truck to stop so we can pump it all out. Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that's like a fire and offense, Truckers World. Did you get fired over that? Right on. So, look, here's the deal, man. Snyder teaches you a lot about self-dispatch. And that's the thing with only having two years of experiences, and especially if that part of the career is limited. Like I did 6 years of all 48 states, except for Nevada, so 47 states. So, like, if I had to do a load to Albuquerque, I know where to go, I know what to do. If I had to do a load to Ontario, I might give a little Viking coach a call, but then I kind of know what to do. If I had to do a load up to the Bronx, I know how to do it. I've been there, done all that. And so having that knowledge allows me to avoid situations like, you know, food places cascade that I know that, you know, that won't put me in a situation that's going to affect my next load. And that could be a challenge. You know, there's only certain grocery warehouses I'll go to. You know, I can't tell you how many times I've called the broker, hey, I'm looking at this load, this and this. And they're like, yeah, it's going to this grocery warehouse here under this brand. I'm like, oh, okay, well, have a good day. He's like, oh, whoa, you don't want the load at all? I'm like, nope, sorry. Okay. You know, they don't understand because they never, you know, I once stayed at AWG, Associated Wholesale Grocers in Springfield, for 10 hours. That was when I was at Snyder. Now that paid me an extra $350, but still, it's annoying to sit in your truck for 10 hours. And luckily, I wasn't doing anything afterwards. I didn't have to cancel any loads. I was going home, but still, it sucked.
You got it.
Oops. Wrong one. And we're still not showing up. You can make a lot of money at Snyder when you learn their system. Not a firing offense unless you do it twice in a month. Okay. Okay, Truckers World. Well, that's good. I know a buddy of mine that worked for a gas, and it was a firing offense the first time. I believe. I could be wrong. But I think I'm going to go to bed, guys. I'm going to get up early and get most of my driving done tomorrow. I've only got a 500-mile day tomorrow, so... Actually, not even that. I think I got it down to like 400. Jeff Best sold me on the fuel maintenance lease agreement. Oh, full maintenance lease agreement. You can't find out how I can arrange it with a monthly payment without $10,000 down. Full maintenance deals. Look, the only way you're going to get. Look, okay. Let me rephrase that, LD. The best way to get in a full maintenance deal is to go with the carrier that offers that. And those do exist. I know that Advanced has a full maintenance lease deal. I know that Bourne has a full maintenance lease deal at times. Not all the time, but at times. And at one time, we had one truck that was full maintenance lease that Jeff leased to somebody. And the beauty of that full maintenance lease is you're never worried about a breakdown. You know, you're not worried about that check engine light costing you a five-figure number, right? So get it on your own. That ain't gonna happen because you usually have to show 3 to 4 years of being in business, and the rates are absolutely extraordinary, and they usually don't want to deal with one truck operations. So that's pretty much the only way to get into that kind of deal. I got 2 friends in those situations, and they do pretty good. You need gas for 18 years. You're welcome, LD. You're welcome. Because the more you know before you make that first step, the first step isn't as hard. And even in trucking in general, I mean, I had the background from my dad coming into this industry, so it wasn't like a big, huge culture shock to me. So there's a lot of things that I understand that I take for granted, as far as like, you know, I'll be with a group of non-trucking friends like, oh yeah, I did a drop and hook over here on this, and then I did, you know, and they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, oh, I had to put my trailer down and pick up another trailer, you know, that kind of thing. And because I already knew the terminology, already knew the industry. I didn't know the depths of it like I do now, but I still knew enough better. I still knew more than everybody else in my CDL class, except for one guy. And why? Because his dad was a truck driver. So, you know, and that's the other thing. A lot of bank loans, LD, are going to want to see, like when I got my first truck loan, which was only $60,000, by the way. They wanted to see my diploma from CDL school. I had to prove to them that how long I've had my CDL, just to even get my foot in the door. So there's that. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for our discussion. And yeah, maybe we'll leave this up. Give me a thumbs up if you want me to leave this up. Yeah, that will help. Logistically disturbed. It will help. I will say this. Well, I don't know. Maybe you and I should talk more privately and get some more in-depth answers to your questions. So, but I'm going to bed. I'm tired. So, you guys take it easy. Daniel, I hope you're feeling better. And as for the rest of you, be safe, be good, be profitable. Peace.